Good morning. My name is Krishna Dev, roll number CHI18002. Today we'll be discussing about the instrumentation of gas chromatography. Now before heading towards the main topic, let us quickly go through some basic points. Depending on the type of mobile phases used, chromatographic technique is classified into three categories: liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, and supercritical fluid chromatography, which is also known as SFC in short. Then again, depending upon the stationary phases used, gas chromatography is further divided into two categories: gas solid chromatography and gas liquid chromatography. In gas solid chromatography, the mobile phase is a gas, whereas the stationary phase is a solid. Since the stationary phase is a solid, hence this chromatographic technique, that means the gas solid chromatography, is based on the absorption, on the principle of absorption chromatography. The second one is gas liquid chromatography. In gas liquid chromatography, the mobile phase is again a gas, whereas the stationary phase is a liquid. Since the stationary phase is a liquid, hence gas liquid chromatography is based on the principle of partition chromatography. Gas liquid partition chromatography was invented by Martin and James in the year 1952. Gas chromatography is one of the most versatile and ubiquitous analytical technique used in the laboratory because of its sensitivity and effectiveness in separating the components of mixtures. Let us take an example of benzene and cyclohexane, whose boiling points are 80.1 degrees Celsius and 80.8 degrees Celsius respectively. Now it is virtually impossible to distill out these two compounds by conventional distillation method, but these two compounds can be separated very easily by gas chromatography. That is why it is referred to as ubiquitous analytical technique. Now let us proceed towards the main topic, that is instrumentation of gas chromatography. Here is a schematic diagram of gas chromatograph, which consists of some components like gas tank, valve, sample inlet or sample injection port, flow controller, reference site, sampling site, then detector, oven or thermostated heater, column, and recorder. Now let us look at each component one by one. The first component is the gas tank. The gas tank is made up of stainless steel. Chemically inert gases like helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, argon, carbon dioxide, air are used inside the tank, but generally helium is used. The gases present inside the tank acts as a mobile phase. These gases are also called carrier gases because these gases are used to carry sample. The next component is flow controller. At the top there is a valve. When we open it, gas starts to flow through the pipe. The flow controller is used to control the rate of flow of gas. The pressure of gas should be between 40 to 80 psi. The next component is sample inlet or sample injection port. After the flow of gas from the tank, the sample is rapidly injected by means of a hypodermic microsyringe through a silicone rubber septum into the column. The samples can be of three types: liquid sample, gas sample, and solid sample dissolved in any liquid. But the interesting fact about the sample is that the sample is first converted into vapor if it is not already a gas by injecting into a heated port, because gas acts as a mobile phase in gas chromatography. That means the liquid sample and solid sample dissolved in any liquid must be converted into vapor by injecting into a heated port. The next component is column. The most important factor in gas chromatography is the selection of proper column, which acts as stationary phase for the particular separation to be attempted. There are two types of column: packed column and capillary column. Capillary columns are widely used nowadays as it offers advantages of high resolution with narrow peaks, short analysis time, and high sensitivity. Depending on shapes, columns can be of three types: straight column, U-shaped column, and coiled column. Straight column is used when the length of the column required is shorter. U-shaped column is used when the length of the column required is slightly longer. Coiled column is used when the length of the column required is very long. The internal wall of the column is coated with high boiling point stationary phases like silicon polymer or ethylene glycol. For packed columns, liquid samples of 0.1 to 10 microliter are injected while the gas samples of 1 to 10 ml are injected. Gases can be injected by means of a gas-tight syringe or through a special gas inlet chamber of constant volume. Similarly, for capillary columns, volume of only about 1 by 100, these sizes must be injected because of low capacity. Separation of components occurs as the vapor constituents equilibrate between carrier gas and stationary phase. The fifth component is the thermostated heater or oven. The column and sample inlet is enclosed in a chamber known as oven. The temperature inside the oven can be altered as per the requirement. The temperature can be increased up to 300 degrees Celsius. Now, regarding temperature change, there is a term called temperature programming. Temperature programming means gradual change in temperature during analysis. The sixth component is detector. Detection of sample is done by detector. The sample is automatically detected as it emerges from the column. The detector contains a reference site and a sampling site. The carrier gas is passed through the reference site before entering the column and emerges from the column through the sampling site. Detectors are of several types about which we will discuss a little later. Now here it is noteworthy that the sample injection port, column and detector are heated to temperatures at which the sample has a vapor pressure of at least 10 torr, usually about 50 degrees Celsius above the boiling point of the highest boiling solute. The injection port and detector are usually kept somewhat warmer than the column to promote rapid vaporization of the injected sample and prevent sample condensation in the detector. Here are the reference side and sampling side, and as I have already told that carrier gas is passed through the reference side whereas the carrier gas emerges from the sampling side. Now let us look at the last component, that is recorder. The response of the sampling side relative to the reference side signal is fed to a recording device where peaks are recorded as a function of time, that is retention time, and the recording device where the peaks are recorded is called recorder. Now retention time is defined as the minutes between the time the sample is injected and the time the chromatographic peak is recorded. By measuring retention time and comparing this time with that of a standard of the pure substance, it may be possible to identify the peaks. Since the peaks are automatically recorded, the entire analysis time is amazingly short for complex samples also. And this explains the popularity of gas chromatography. Now we can make a clear picture in our mind about the instrumentation of gas chromatography. The carrier gases present in the tank that act as mobile phase pass through the column. Here the column acts as stationary phase. The sample after injecting from the sample inlet have their affinity towards mobile phase and stationary phase. The detector detects the sample and sends signal to the recorder, where the peaks are recorded as a function of time, and thus GC works. Now let us look at some of the types of detector. Here are some of the types of detectors. The first type is thermal conductivity detector or TCD. It is also known as catharometer or hot wire detector. It is made of tungsten rhodium alloy wire. Its sensitivity is 10 to the power minus 9 gram. The second type is flame ionization detector or FID. It is highly sensitive for organic compounds. Its sensitivity is 10 to the power minus 11 gram. The third type is electron capture detector or ECD. Radioactive sources like nickel-63 emits beta particles which interacts with gas and form positive ions. Ultimately, electron is captured and detection takes place. It is highly sensitive in nature. Its sensitivity is from 10 to the power minus 9 to 10 to the power minus 12 gram. The last type is the thermionic specific detector or TSD. It is also known as nitrogen phosphorus detector. It is specific for the determination of 10 to the power minus 11 gram for nitrogen and 10 to the power minus 12 gram for phosphorus. Now here I would like to stop, and whatever I have explained in this video, the whole concept is taken from the book named Analytical Chemistry by Gary D. Christian. So for any further reference, we can go through the book. Thank you.